All right, guys. Hey, welcome in. Sean Salisbury Unpaved here on a Monday. A lot to get to with passion. And, well, you know how we do. Me and my guy, JB, he'll be on in just a second. Elon Musk, we're going to hit him today, not literally, but apparently the former party that he was with forgot that he was with them. And we're gonna hit hard on that, the stupidity of the way that the general public, meaning liberals, approach Elon Musk. We'll get that. Not that everybody's a bad liberal or a good conservative, but when it comes to this, there's a lot of stupidity. American made too. We'll get to that here on Unpaved, as well as the Final Four and what's gone on here. And to get to this point, what we can expect from 4-1 seeds. We'll also discuss this Tush push. I hate the name of it, but are you in favor of getting rid of it? Or is it just simply because people can't stop it? Are we really worried about injuries, or is it follow the money? We want to add an 18th game. We talk about injuries, but we just keep adding games and probably want to pay him for 17 games, but add an 18th. We're going to get to all that today, as well as Major League debate. If we get to it, it's not time sensitive. The Yankees are raking, and so is Aaron Judge. Four home runs, 4 touchdowns for him, and 11 RBIs to start. The guy is it the bat? Is it live or is it Memorex? Does the bat have anything to do with it? These bats that appear to be drawn some of the thickness of that bat towards the trademark on the bat. So where most people hit it or their misses, and is it resulting in more power and more offense, which is exactly what Major League Baseball wants, even though it takes gimmicks to get there. Is it that big a deal? But we start with the Final Four. We are set with 4-1 seeds. Welcome in, JB. Here as well as Triple E as part of the show, as he is every single day. Good to have you guys on after a Monday. I got 3 or 4 teams left. Texas Tech had a real chance, man, even though I didn't have them get into the Elite Eight. Real chance, and couldn't hold off 16 points inside of 14 minutes. And we saw teams try to creep back, but we got star power, which in talking to Kevin Harlan on my local show this morning, who does game after, hell, he's doing all the college basketball. He's doing a Laker game tonight. I mean, the guy's phenomenal with his schedule and one of the great voices. As he said today, I asked him if 4-1 seeds were a good thing, JB. And he said, well, I said, we're going to get quality basketball. There's no question about that. Is it a good thing for the overall look of college basketball? And he said, we're at the point now where it's the player. Star power brings the ratings in his mind, as opposed to who that team is, whether it's blue blood or not. I think we do like dark horses, and we do like that one that's, the one, oh my gosh, when you get George Mason in the Final Four or one of those type teams, a Virginia Commonwealth. But I still think people like villains, yes, but I still think they like good, old school, big time. I don't think the number 1 seed bothers people. You're getting quality basketball, although the haves and the have-nots will continue to be affected when it comes to money. And Kevin Harlan mentioned that with this transfer portal going on, JB. So 4 hellified teams. Duke will take on Houston, and then you'll get, obviously, Florida and Auburn, 2 teams familiar in the SEC. I thought it was a hell of a weekend, and the good teams. Duke's playing about as well as anybody in the country right now, JB. I had Alabama giving them a game. I had Alabama beating them in mine, but that wasn't close from the get-go. They put it on them.
Yeah, it's crazy. Since 2008, this is the first time all 4 seeds have made it. And that year, they had the likes of Derrick Rose and Hansborough at North Carolina.
Wasn't it in San Antonio as well?
It might have been. Here's the thing, though. Like, we knew those rosters. You and I knew that those 4-1 seed rosters, from probably top to bottom, every team in the Final Four, we could probably say, oh, yeah, I watched Tyler Hansborough all year long. He's been unbelievable. I watched Derrick Rose. We know how good he is. Nowadays, I couldn't name you one fucking kid on any of these teams, and that's the difference, in my opinion. We had Jerry Palm on today talking about, hoops as well, college hoops, and he was kind of saying the same thing. The Cinderella story in the mid-major, I think, is done. Like, that's the sad part about it. That's the difference between 08 and now with these 4-1 seeds. I think, yes, it's the first time since 08 4-1 seeds have faced off, but it's an entirely different landscape as to why those 4-1 seeds are facing off.
It used to be tough enough loyalty-wise on one and dones. If you were Kentucky and 8 of those cats leave, and old school when Grant Hill and Leitner and that group was around at Duke, They played 3 and 4 years, most time 4 years, played till they were seniors. And then the one and done came in. And this transfer portal is kind of, I'll see and I'll raise you even 10 or 100 times, because now, and Kevin Harlan shared a great story too. And I refer to him because, man, he's always spectacular. Get a load of this, JB. He was talking to me this morning. He said, Sean, I talked to one coach who he and his guys were sitting in a room, and they got on a Zoom call with a player, who on their roster, they said when he transferred would have been like the second or third guy off the bench, sixth, seventh best player, contribute, but not a star. And so they went through it all, and they, not the academic or where we're going to the Final Four or anything about the school. The kid said, well, what about pay? And they said their starting point was $1.5 million. They turned the mute button on and turned the camp for a second, talked among each other, came back and said, well, we wish you all the luck in the world. If it doesn't work out, you come back and find us. The 8th guy on the roster now wants $1.5 million. And you talk about the Tyler Hansboroughs or anybody that was there a while we knew, sans the one and done guys. Is it, while you may recognize him, Cooper Flagg, who's as popular a player as there is in the country, and he's a freshman, right? But he won't be there a second year. So I get that part. And the stars, I know what you're saying. It was 3 or 4 guys on the roster instead of just the star, right? You knew the depth and the 6th man coming off, what you're talking about, JB. But with this, the transfer portal now, these 4 teams will not be the same, even if they were all underclassmen. 3 of them leave, 2 come, 4 of them are considering it. You don't know. You can literally get to the Final Four, and if one of these teams loses, whoever the 2 teams are that lose on Saturday, should I say, that there's a good chance that an underclassman or an older guy who says, you know what, I should be playing more, leaves. There is a chance that you could be on the national title team, and the second it's over, somebody's on the phone if they already haven't made their decision, which is crazy, but that's the way it is. I don't think it's good for it, but Jerry Palm's right that we are to the point with this, JB, that the mid-major, the reason why is because it's cash now. They can't keep up because the guy that's leaving a big school a lot of times would have left to go somewhere else, that if he wasn't competing, let's say he couldn't do his thing at Villanova and then wanted to transfer to, I don't care what it is, Stephen F. Austin or somewhere else, right? Or maybe even a Power 4 school that you wouldn't look at and say, that's a powerhouse, it's a good school, but I can go there and start. Maybe it's not as deep as a Duke or an AC or a team like the University of Houston or Florida. So you go to one of those schools, but it used to be you transfer to one of those schools because, man, it was an opening. I'd go be a star there and average 20 a game. Now it's, you may go, but you're still asking, it's the money. It's not legacy. It's no other reason. So these teams here are not going to look near the same, and they're the number 1 seed. And in truth, they've got to do both now. If you want to keep up with the transfer portal, you don't get the next 3 or 4 days. You're focusing on that. You don't even get to focus on your team. But my gut tells me that the majority of these coaches, when you look at them, that focusing on their team and their program currently has to be the priority. Yet, in order to keep up, because you want that contract extension, they can't help but be distracted by this, because if not, even though you're 4-1 seeds and you're sitting there, the rule isn't set up for you guys to suffer from the transfer portal. It's for you guys to go get richer. And if you can't recruit it like the team that's already eliminated, that's why we shouldn't be doing this during the tournament. Should be all focused right now, and then have a free-for-all a week after or 2 days after the season ends, starting at midnight. Yeah, so regardless of it, these 4-1 seeds have earned their way. But you're right, that 14 or 12 seed that can win a game or two, to get to this point, you better have deep pockets. Even as a non-power 4 or a mid-major, you've got no shot to keep up. You just can't keep up, and it simply comes down to, no matter how they slice it, it is one hand-to-hand cash, period. It's not name, image, and likeness. It's you're in the portal, we'll pay you this to leave. If that ain't hand-to-hand cash, I don't know what the fuck is. The
problem is the University of Indiana, who was in the tournament, has 0 of those players today. They've all entered the portal.
Damn right.
And to be honest, Tom Izzo, who I love and you love to death, I think I was low-key rooting for them to win it all, even though I picked Houston for the money's purposes. But Michigan State, I would not have been mad at all if Izzo took this team to the finals.
Agreed.
The issue is he comes out and says, listen, man, what's happened to me, worried about my fucking roster right here in my locker room that's loyal to me? Why do I have to be disloyal to them and worry about what's in the fucking portal as I get ready to try to get into the Final Four? Like, this is an unbelievable mockery, man.
Don't you ask your players and your coaches when you hire them if you're an AD?
Give me your attention. Yeah.
You say, are you all bought in? Are you all in? Is it a bridge school? Are you all in? Yeah. Are you going to leave me to go somewhere else? Listen, people say, we said this before, coaches get to do it. Coaches have a buyout too.
Yeah.
Somebody wants to come in. If they're under contract, they don't get the luxury that a player can just go. I know the argument, and I get it all these years, and players should be paid. But it's for the wrong reasons we're doing it. In the transfer portal, going and getting paid, and no way on God's green earth should guys that are playing still have to take away from the focus to do. And I don't care if they say, well, have your advanced scout or your GM contact the guys in the transfer portal. I'm sure some are doing that, but it still takes away what they've earned. These guys have been here. The focus on the guys that are playing currently. Can you imagine if the NFL, you're coaching a guy in October, and the only thing you're thinking about is, you know what, I'm going to court the guy that I'm going to go get in February or March in free agency. Think about how that would look. And if you buy in, if it's not there, and I do believe it matters, if you got one foot out the door, I don't think you can focus on a great game plan. I've said it before, and I don't care. I'm going to tell you, if there's a coach in this portal, now I think Bruce Pearl had said that he's kind of okay for it being going on during the tournament, which is a little shocking. He thinks it's for the kid that, well, the kid, his life's on hold. You're damn right it's on hold. I love you, Bruce, but it should be on hold. He's 19, 20 years old. We all have to wait on something to have success. We shouldn't just, he lost, and the second he gets out of his shower and then doesn't take a shower pill and gets in the shower, he can go somewhere else. I understand, but you don't have to cater to the kid for everything. They can handle a little unpaved road once in a while, so it's ridiculous. But I get that, but everybody's got to fall into the same category. Make it a free-for-all, made-for-television thing once the season's all done. They got it wrong on this, JB, and it drives me crazy. You cannot do this. And if a coach has got one foot out the door, I'm telling you, if any of these coaches do, and knowing Kelvin Sampson, I can guarantee he doesn't. I don't know the other three personally, but I can tell you this: if they got one foot out the door, meaning that they're talking that the transfer portal is overwhelming them, as well as putting this game plan in, they won't win. There's nobody good enough in this tournament to mail it in. We're playing against three damn good teams that you can just mail it in and say, well, the portal's more important than my guys. They'll tell you their guys are more important, but anytime it's taken away from what you do is a problem. And I think that's a problem. I really do.
And Sean, you got this whole the mid-major has been eliminated in front of our very eyes because any players they get are worth a shit, that they're getting plucked by the big resourceful schools like these Final Four guys. Like, they're going to pluck the best player from Gonzaga now. And now Gonzaga not only were, a blue blood in basketball, they don't have football, so basketball, but now you're going to see Gonzaga become a fucking true mid-major university when it comes to basketball because they can't keep up with the Joneses. I mean, just think about it. You're talking about some big schools, Sean, that are going to be mid-majors. Like, I'm just saying, Baylor just won it all a few years ago. You know what they are right now? A mid-major.
When it comes to keeping up with the money,
yeah,
there's no doubt. And how do you sustain keeping up with the money when the pot, the big boys get it bigger? You look at Gonzaga, but they're nestled in a great place where they love their basketball up there. But to keep up and to say, I can, when you got your eighth guy asking for $1.5 million, hence why we need a cap, because then that call would have come off different, right? $1.5 million, and you're not going to start for me? Nah, man, sorry.
The number one reason,
guy. Most of these cats won't see an NBA game, dude. Most of them won't see it, and if they do, they'll be out of the league. The ones that are, maybe not even transfer. There'll be some. Don't misunderstand me. Houston's benefited from the LJ Cryer and guys. I get it. 3 and 4 transfers I don't get. We need a salary cap on it. I'll say it every friggin' week, and this shouldn't be going on while other teams are playing. You should allow those kids should have to wait, and coaches and buyouts. Put it on the player, too. I've said it a million times.
The number one reason kids transfer, contrary to people's belief, is these cell phones, and it's called peer pressure. Because Sean and I were both 5 stars in high school. Sean went to LSU and starts as a freshman. I go to Alabama and redshirt. Guess why I transferred? Because Sean is playing as a freshman, and now all the dick writers on social media are calling me an absolute failure. We're both 5 stars, both number 1 and 2 recruits, but one's playing as a true freshman. One happened to go to Nick Saban and is going to be coached up and taught how to become an NFL player. And now he thinks he's deserving of a starting role as a freshman because he was a 5-star like his peer.
And he got beat out. He got
That's
beat out. Now he's going to go try to get more money somewhere else on a program.
That's your point. That's what's happening right now as the 8th guy on the bench. They think they're equals to the 5-star, and they deserve the same amount of money, and that is what's ruined college athletics.
That's why we need to start putting a number on the player, meaning here's what it costs for you to transfer more than once. And if you're in the portal and not working towards graduation, then there's going to be then we're going to have to delay the portal. You've got to make it tougher on the kid to just up and go.
Don't even start with
especially during this tournament. All right, guys. Hey, AI-powered funding. AI-powered funding. The golden age is here. And what's the best funding for you? 250 grand all the way up to 100 million. It is the golden age. What if funding your business was as simple as pushing a simple button? Wouldn't that be great? Yeah, I think we'd all like that. AI.tricera.com. Our AI scans and matches your business with the best funding sources instantly, urgently, without panic. No waiting, no red tape, just AI-driven funding that works. Listen, you guys see AI, how quickly it can get you answers to stuff you're working for. Well, it's in funding as well. Business funding, you small business owners, 250,000 to 100 million. We have the capital to take your business to the next level and to build something solid and a foundation for you. Ray Smith, the CEO of Tricera, you heard him on here last week. Go back and see that podcast. He designed and explained this so well for a Fortune 100 funding system to give small businesses the same advantages as those major corporations. So when it comes to sports, the big guys keep getting bigger. Why is the mid-major, which is, hey, small businesses, let's have them have the opportunity with the right funding, the right terms at the right time. The golden age, America is here, and it's right now. The only question is, are you ready? At ai.tricera.com, it's now, and it's secure your funding today. ai.tricera.com, ai.tricera.com, funding that finds you and funding that'll find you now. And there's the number 949-919-5100. And my guy, Ray Smith, the CEO, is building something really special there. All right, JB, let's make the switch over this Tesla thing. You know, I'm baffled. I don't care. Listen, I don't really care whether you voted, who you voted for, who you like. That's on you. I'm never going to tell anybody. I just don't understand the common sense of burning these cars after you've already bought them. Now, the ones that they're going and burning and lighting the factories on fire, different story. But, you know, running stupid four-wheelers into them that you're sitting there and you're the one that's going to suffer more. But the fact that this is a guy who builds these cars in America, who was a Democrat at one point. He was a full-fledged Democrat, and they fucked it up enough that he decided to leave. And I've never understood why somebody who is getting rid of the trash, taking it out, that is putting the very money that they're stealing and taking from you, he's trying to show you where it is and put it back in your pocket. And we've got a problem with that. The problem isn't with Elon Musk. I'm just telling you. He's the middleman on the way to the guy that they don't like in the White House. I've just never understood if it's better for you and for the country, regardless of party or race or who you voted for, if it's making the country better, then what's the problem? Is it the fact that they want to be lazy? And remember, this was the guy that everybody wanted, hey, we're going green. We got to use more electric and more electric cars. So he does it, builds them in America, and he's the most popular cat on the planet. And then the second he decides to pine for President Trump and doesn't like the way the Democrats are going and doesn't like liberal stealing from the public on a regular basis and putting it into, I don't know, condoms delivered in some foreign place or a third world country that you're never going, and they're going to have 8 kids anyway, that's up to you. But with that, so trying to save and show you where we're getting cheated and then try to turn around and put more money in your pocket, yet that's a bad thing. Let me ask you this. If this same thing was happening and he was voted the other way, or if this was happening under Biden or whatever, Kamala Harris is squealing ass, laughing and joking on everything because she's uncomfortable ass because she didn't know how to answer a question and wasn't knowledgeable enough, had the IQ of an oak tree. So with that in mind, how in the world would you be unhappy with the things that you pined for when he was voting the way you wanted, and then when he didn't, now he's the bad guy, yet you really don't know why you're doing it. Now he's the enemy to the liberals because he's uncovering the stuff that you, quite frankly, weren't willing to put up with, but did. And now that we got somebody who isn't putting up with it, well, it's a problem, and I got a problem with it.
The irony is crazy is the liberals are the ones buying electrical cars.
Didn't they want it that way?
They're the Greenpeace guys, right? Aren't they the environmentalists and the no gun guys? So
Yeah.
why are you using a gun and shooting at Teslas then? Why are you burning up and waste and fucking up our environment, Mr. and Mrs. Greenpeace? Like, the irony is just mind-boggling, Sean. I'm gonna be honest, it's a joke. These guys are unbelievable, and I'm truly believing now, after seeing all this, they're paid. They're paid protesters. You know why? Sean, I'm not.
Have you ever noticed? There's a lot of.
Have you seen it in inner city Houston?
That are the problem.
Have you seen any of this going on in inner city Houston? I haven't seen it going on in Compton.
Have you seen what?
Have you seen this going on in inner city Houston? No. You know why? Because the paid protesters ain't gonna fucking go into the hood. And I ain't seen it in Compton.
They're too afraid of it. Yeah.
I ain't seen it in Compton, so I know it's paid. Because if you had the balls, you'd go do it everywhere. You're not.
It's convenient location. Punch in the GPS and where
right.
can we be safe protesting and give you the optics of we hate Elon Musk and do this kind of stuff. Key.
Look at this fucking coward.
Now I'd like to know, what impact is he making in truth? Look how stupid this. And then he humped it, and now he's gonna drop trowel on it?
Is that his car driving away though?
Looks like it's moving away. Yeah, it looks like he forgot to put it in the park.
I know these guys idiots though.
Yeah.
Like, it's all this fucking weird Karen and whatever they call the male version of Karen. What is it?
Ken?
Ken?
I just call him Gladys Kravitz on Bewitched, who looked in everybody's window and just won't mind their own damn business. Listen, if he was doing something that I understand disagreeing. You can argue anything you want about disagreeing that you don't like Elon Musk. I'm not buying an electric car. Wasn't buying one when he was on one side, and I like the guy, and I love the money he's donated. There's been people that have been in major need that Elon Musk takes care of. Okay, that we don't even talk. Well, he's got all the money. Yeah, he's got all the money because he's smart and he's earned it. Well, that being said, do you really think that if Elon Musk was doing this on the other side, that we'd be having this? We wouldn't have one. First of all, Republicans wouldn't light their own buildings of the friends that have cars on fire. They wouldn't do that. They just don't. Okay. It's such a, I don't even know what the word is. It's demented, and a demented way of going about your business. But these are the same vehicles that a year and a half ago that they couldn't wait to get their hands on. And I'm convinced, and I know there is no doubt, paid 100%, JB. I'm also convinced that if he had done no matter what he's doing now, if he'd done anything that was favoring, like he said, I'm a liberal and I'm switching back. I don't like Trump. Do you think they'd be burning his vehicles?
Fuck no.
The vehicles haven't changed. And the thing, or if he was doing this under a liberal, president and vice president, and controlled both, the House of Reps and Congress, and controlled it all, do you think that we'd be having this trouble? Simple. Is it simply he just happens to be the guy between them and Donald Trump, and so this is the way he's a billionaire 500 times over, and we don't have to worry about him. We can do what he wants. He's got insurance, and he'll deal with it. At what point in time are we not comparing this to some of the things that the liberals hated about Donald Trump before last election?
You know what the crazy part is? Name me another billionaire. And I'm not an Elon guy, and I don't think I'm not a huge fan and all that shit, like a fanboy. I like what he's doing.
Fanboy. He's smart, though. We all need to be that smart.
The bottom line is, though, I am fully backing what he's been doing. So that's the difference between, like you and I talk about. I don't give a fuck who you vote for. The truth is the truth, no matter who says it, Sean. And I got to be honest, like, what other billionaires goes out and puts his fucking ass and nuts on the table and does the actual work like this billionaire's done? And this is the richest man on planet Earth, or one of them. Yes. And I haven't seen anyone else do it, Sean. I don't see anyone else, and no one gives him credit for that.
But why? Two things. Why in the world are we so bothered that he's trying to? When you look at the list of what Doge has tried to eliminate, who wants that? Who wants bigger government where there's more people getting paid to not do shit and to sit at home and have full-time other jobs and get paid because nobody's checked them? That's one.
I
want you to think of the common sense this makes. He is worth 400, 500 billion. It probably goes up $1 billion every time interest hits, right? what does he have to gain? I understand what people say. Well, he can control what's going on and make things when they lobbyists to favor him and the things he does. Okay, you can argue that any way you want. But what guy is worth 500? I know what he should be doing. Most of them would be on the beach, on a yacht, taking care of people, partying every day, having the time of their friggin' life. He's young enough to enjoy the hell out of it without the headache. What purpose does it serve for him to now be part of government, to have half the world hate him because they didn't vote the way that I'm not saying for Musk because he was assigned, but you voted for the half that voted for Trump in the United States and the half that didn't. I say world because you know what? There's plenty of votes that shouldn't be counted that we let them count because we don't have to have an ID. At least some don't think you should have to have an ID to vote in this country. But I just don't get why they would think about the sacrifice that he's trying to make to do shit. He doesn't need this. He does not need any more money. Okay. No. Although billionaires like a lot of money and they know how to, they know how to make it, they know how to keep it. Right.
Yeah.
But what the purpose of it feels to me like he's trying to do right by getting people the truth behind all this government shit that nobody's wanted to uncover because what you uncover is something you don't want to see and then be held accountable for it. He's held people accountable. He doesn't listen. There's plenty of things you may not like about him. I get that. But when it comes to a guy who's truthfully doing this without needing to do it or needing an impact, needing something changed, I just don't understand. And then having to go through this headache. Can you imagine? Most people say, man, fuck this. I'm done. I got plenty of money. I'll go and change the world any way I want. I don't need to be in government to do it or to be. And yet he's doing it at the foot of just getting hammered on a daily basis. And quite frankly, and the same people who complain about storming this and storming that, they don't have a problem with you lighting businesses on fire and lighting vehicles on fire as if that's just a passing fancy. Oh, Musk is insured. Who cares? It's absurd.
He's the guy. He should be fucking Rosie O'Donnell's fat ass. He should be the one saying, I'm going to go to Ireland and lay the fuck out low.
That's exactly right.
You know what I mean? But we got this fat wobble body who's sitting around here bitching and moaning, doing nothing for nobody. It's always the person, Sean, that like my haters, your haters, they're always people that have done nothing for no one.
Well, the biggest critical people that I know, JB, like of a football player, are not football players. I'm not saying fans don't know. We love, but the most critical are those who've never walked those steps. It's okay to be critical. Shit, you're paying money to go to a game. Listen. I think the fans deserve more seat at the table on these decisions that go on in sports and the rest of it. But let's face facts. You're rarely going to have a current player. Now they get in their beef, wide receiver, quarterback, or cornerback, and defensive back. But rarely, normally the guys that hit the hardest are the one that wouldn't be able to show you an ounce of Pop Warner tape because they never got to it. Or that doesn't mean they don't know sports. It's the same thing here. I mean, we can criticize from a mile, but how many billionaires do you know other than buying, like we know the guy that starts with a G and ends with an S and George Soros, buying this stuff so he can go disrupt the flow of everything, buying chaos. I think Elon Musk kind of just wants some peace. And he, like I said, building everything in the U.S., trying to make it so you guys know with those where the bad people are and the money's. Not all money's good money. And apparently to the government, every dime with them that they could spend on themselves and steal from you is fine. I've never met anybody that likes somebody basically walking into your kitchen, opening your microwave and your refrigerator, taking everything in it, and you're pissed. You're pissed that he tried to keep it in your refrigerator or keep the money on your table. I just don't get it. But then again, when it comes to politics, there's so many people that are deranged. I don't get, like I said, for me, I don't care if the person is making people safer, keep more money and a little sanity and common sense and treats our veterans and our aging properly. I have zero idea why that, unless you're lazy and you think you want a free pass. This ain't the country now under this regime for the free pass. Those days are over, at least for the next 4 years. And many more after that if it goes right. I don't understand why that Elon Musk is the target of all this, but I do get why he is, because he happens to be in the pipeline to a president who ain't taking any of your shit anymore, and those days are over. That's just the way it is.
I agree. It's fucking crazy.
All right, let's real quick. The studios here, as you know, are our premier gold studios, and when the studios are done, you're going to love them. And there's a lot of pressure in sports, a lot of pressure in business, right? But when you're 25, like these teams, they'll overcome it. Even the teams that lost. You look at a Texas Tech team, man, boy, they had a good run, right? and had a chance to put it away, but pressure hits and you miss a shot, miss a free throw, and you go home, but you're going to get a chance to do it again. And you're young and you can recover. Can you recover when you're older with the stock market falls, or you have national debt, or all of a sudden you've invested in your 401k and your IRA, and you think, man, this was going to sustain me when I hit 70. And then all of a sudden you look up and you got hit in the mouth 25 times by it. And you're like, how am I going to recover from this, all this pressure? It's not like a guy hitting you in the mouth when you're throwing a touchdown pass. This is different. This is real life stuff that you don't want to get to the point where you can't recover from it. So how do you do that? Precious metals. I've teamed with Premier Gold and this game plan playbook that gives you an opportunity, well, to do what you need to do. And physical gold, tangible assets, and Premier Gold has helped people like you and me overcome that. And by putting tangible assets that stand the test of time in your hand, you don't want market swings to affect it. It eats away at your retirement, but not precious metals. Gold and silver can provide security and freedom. And at Premier Gold, we make it easy for retirees to own gold, offering expert guidance with that great playbook and a simple rollover process, no hidden fees. So if you're close to retirement, in retirement, or want to retire at a certain time, there's no time like now to get started. This isn't a game anymore. You want timing? Well, the timing is right now. It's your future, your legacy, and your life. So go to my guys at Premier Gold and the Premier Gold Studios as well. Give them a call today at 949-566-8666. That's 949-566-8666. See how precious metals can protect your retirement. We got Premier Gold people standing by, free one-on-one consultation to walk you through rolling over your 401k or your IRA into physical precious metals. Premier Gold is the only team I suggest to anybody that's listening, and even those ones that aren't. Give them a call, 949-566-8666, or secure.premiergoldco.com/Sean. That's secure.premiergoldco.com/Sean. That's Premier Gold. All right, JB, this tush push, man. And I'm not, I understand the injury process. And I understand the quarterbacks hate, one thing people have to understand, quarterbacks hate quarterback sneaks. They friggin' hate it. Guys flying over the top, helmet to helmet, nobody calls it then. Guys going to the ground, grabbing it. Believe me, you get your balls grabbed at the bottom of those piles. They try to, I've had my ankle twisted at the bottom of those piles. They grab one. Listen, and we don't wear cups. I know it's some people listen to this show. I've never in my life seen a running back, a quarterback, a football player put a cup on. They don't wear it. It's whether the hamstring shorts, the sliding shorts, or a jock. They don't wear a cup. So you're saying, well, what happens at the bottom of those piles? You get your balls grabbed plenty, okay? And JB, you know what I'm talking about, right? Because people just don't. You're like, oh, people wear a cup. Your ass. Helmets and hands flying around. They don't want to be in, it's like cumbersome to some. For you, JB, I mean, there's plenty of space in the cup. So, no big deal right there. You know what I'm saying? You got plenty of space to maneuver in a
I could wear a cup. They didn't make a duffel bag big enough.
They couldn't hold you? Is that what you're saying? There you go.
I have a duffel bag.
So, quarterbacks hate them. But the Philadelphia Eagles, it's part of their game plan. What are we going to do next? Mel Kiper suggested we get rid of cover 2 so we can throw more touchdown passes deep. And then what's up next? We can't have 8 in the box because, well, we're afraid to run it. We love to throw it. Don't put that on us. Yeah, and then we're going to throw it more. Or we're going to make sure that we can't play 4 across the board and 0 coverage because we don't want anybody to be under pressure with the blitz. Or we're going to limit RPO because, well, it's just too much on the defensive end to handle. Or I would think that they'd want to keep more RPO, well, because they want points. The health is what they're going to preach, JB, with this. But if you can't stop this motherfuckers, why in the world would you be – you know what? You better do something to stop them. They do it better than anybody. And if Philadelphia, whose quarterback is a big, physical, strong kid, if they want it, why are we trying to gimmick football? I know this is a gimmick, but it's a gimmick that works. Normally, I'd say, come on, man, this feels gimmicky. But just because they got somebody behind pushing, I don't have a problem with it, JB. And I'd say stop it before you move it on because I don't want to hear the BS that they care about health. That's why they're going to add an 18th game eventually. And that's why we only get 3 days off or 4 days off from a Sunday to a Thursday game. No, it's more money in their pocket. And the arguments, I guess, that ensued in there are pretty hefty when they're going back and forth. But if you're the Philadelphia Eagles or teams that successful at it, why would you change it? Why the problem? Don't tell me it's health.
Yeah, it's a joke. We're going to add games, talk about all the health thing. You and I years ago discussed this whole tush push thing, and we were like, it's a joke. Wait till somebody gets hurt, Jalen Hurts, or somebody breaks their fucking leg, or
somebody snaps back because they've been hit from the back and the front, and they have that bend back that hyperextends your knee, no doubt.
and you know, me and you argued it. And listen, we're offensive guys. And I want the whole thing to be equal. I want to be able to push the fucking nose guard in from a running start and put 600 pounds behind the nose to combat the fucking quarterback being pushed. Like, that is what we don't understand here. You've eliminated jumping over the center on punt, PAT, field goal, all these other things, jumping the snap count. But yet you have the distinct advantage, Sean, of controlling the snap count as an offensive quarterback or player.
Right.
And yet we penalize the defense for trying to either A, hurdle it, jump it, try to stop it, or combat it. To me, it's an unequal play. I don't like the play.
That's why I'm saying, JB, if you're going to let it go, what's the counterpoint to it? The counterpoint is this. First off, JB, you know why you're not going to get that on defense? Because the NFL wants more points. And you and I both know it. Every rule is set up for the defense, and that's coming from two offensive guys. On the other side of it, basically what we're asking for, JB, if they're going to do that, you should be able to – basically it's a rugby scrum. That when I line up pre-snap, that I'm allowed to put as many bodies, not only that, but I am allowed to get behind my I'll put two interior guys in there. I'm going to force you to go to the edge is my point. And then I got a middle linebacker, and I'll put in a extra big body as my free safety or strong safety. And since you're at the half-yard line, I'm not real worried that you're going to go over the, you're going to have to play action me and do it. I'm selling out to when they line up in that formation, I'm selling out to it. So why shouldn't I be able to push my two nose guards from behind if you're pushing your quarterback with two big bodies from behind as well? Isn't that fair? If we're going to do it, but then they'll say, well, there's more of a chance to get hurt. Of course there is. Of course there is. But should Philadelphia be punished, or teams that execute it well, because it's a gimmick, or should they be punished because they do it well? If Philadelphia was average at it, we would not be having this conversation, and you and I both know it, injuries or not.
Yeah, it's a joke. It's crazy. I don't know. I don't get it. We want to go overseas more. We want to do all these other things. Like, I just think it's another fucking joke for the NFL to consider or even claim that, we're all about safety, Sean. Fuck out of here.
No, they're all about safety. If safety's in the process of handing you the greenbacks, cash, buddy, iron, straight cash, homie, all that. They want the money. If they were all about money, we'd be playing a game once a week. But money says we got to add an 18th. JB, what do you think the chances are that the Players Association with that, not only the change in it, I think once the rule gets going and on the ground and fighting and there's enough against it that they won't be able to resist, they'll probably outlaw what the Eagles are doing instead of give the defense a chance to scrum with them. But we got to protect the players. I get it. The other side, what do you think the chances are when they add an 18th game that, one, we just get rid of preseason games? Because the practice fields where my guys proved to me, not 8 snaps in a preseason game. I like the practice field, and we're down to 2, which means the stars won't play at all because you don't want to get them hurt. We don't even have spring. There's a lot of teams that aren't even putting spring football games together now. They're done with that. They're bypassing their spring football game. So do you think the NFL would put 18 games and want you to be paid for 17? They're going to try to do this, because if I'm the Players Association, you're adding an extra game. That means if I'm making $4 million a paycheck, like some of the big money guys are, or $500,000 a paycheck, wherever you are in the pecking order, that whatever that weekly game check breaks out to be, 2/16, 2/18, 3/18, 4. When you do that, you add another game. Shouldn't you be adding another game check to it? Or are they going to try to take your $10 million salary and fit it into 18 games, even though you signed for 17 games when you did it?
I agree. And then, they were talking, it's Sean, it's such a joke. You know what it is. Let's fucking joke. Preseason, well, let's eliminate it. Let's play this. Then what's that done? Now the players don't even play in the fucking preseason. Nobody
do we like college though, JB? Do we need preseason game? I say, get those practices where the Vikings are practicing against the Chiefs and
squad.
Do a bunch of those, and I can. Most of my team's making it on the practice field anyway. I mean, that's just validation. How am I going to have some guy that plays 15 plays in the preseason be at his top notch and then risk the game injury? Everybody's trying to get away from injury. So for me, you're going to have to pay him 18 games to get the extra game. But for me, if you're going to do it this way, everybody wants more games, but maybe the player. But they're going to try to do it. But to me, I'm at the point now, just eliminate preseason games, practice amongst each other, and eliminate, because what are you going to do? other than the Hall of Fame game, what are you learning in 2 games where your starters aren't playing, JB? That your backup strong safety who runs down on special teams showed me he can play. I guarantee you by the time they line up on a Saturday night in the preseason, that week of practice 2-a-days pretty much told them if this guy can play or not in the preseason. I'm telling you that now.
It's a joke, Coach. I'm so tired of dealing with this shit. It's just
it's
a slap in our face, though.
Yep, it is. Hey, El Rancho Grande and Mas Grande right here. These are mocktails. Okay, Spindle Tap Brewery. Spindle Tap Brewery. This phone number is 713-325-1477. You need to get on there and order. Delivered right to your door. They've got all the beers, and I'll talk about those as we go on. Today is focused on the mocktails. Grande, the big one. This is Mas Grande. This is Grande. So what it is, this is 20 milligrams and 9, or depending on what it is, the size of it, you get the big boy here with 20 milligrams, and it's all 0 sugar. And then the THC is you get that Delta 9 THC. Delta 9, 20 milligrams. And on the smaller version, the milligrams are a little bit smaller there, 12 fluid ounces, but you still get the same. 0 sugar, the mocktail, no alcohol in it. But I can tell you, if you're sitting home at night after a trip, you just got home and you're beat up, or if you've had 12 surgeries like I have and your shoulders bother and you went out and played golf and you want to relax before you go to bed, these are what you want. They taste delicious, prickly pear. You get the THC so that you're not like the headache hangover, but in a nice and relaxed mode, sitting at home with your buddies or your family. This Delta 9 THC is off the charts. It's one of those, when you taste it, you're going to say, Sean, where do I get in line? Whether it's the big one, 5 milligrams in the small one, or 10 or 20 milligrams in the Mas Grande El Rancho. It is Spindle Tap. SpindleTap.com will get it delivered right to your door. And I'm going to tell you right now, there may not be a better mocktail on the planet. You better get it while the getting's good, because they just continue to get more. The Mas Grande, the Grande, right there at Spindle Tap, SpindleTap.com, 713-325-1477. We'll deliver it right to your door. On their way, JB, as we wrap this one up here today, what do you think about the way this new bat's being talked about, JB, with the Yankees, and they went haywire? Aaron Judge, 4 home runs, 11 RBIs over the weekend. They were raking. I know the talk of the putting a little more thickness and girth. Probably a bad thing to use. Let me back up. Girth on a show with 2 dudes is to put it near the trademark, so balls that you miss still have a chance. Another advantage to the offense. But is this a trend? Is it overrated? Is it just if you can barrel it up, you barrel it up? Where's this going, do you think?
It's a joke. I think I've looked into it enough to know that this has been around for 2 decades.
Yeah, it's not like it happened yesterday, JB, but somehow we're paying attention to it now.
Yeah, because of Dave Portnoy and these other fucking guys that are fans of other teams like the Red Sox or some team that doesn't fit the narrative of a Yankee. You and I are at least going to call it like it is. No matter what our team particularly are, what we're favored to, we're going to say, you know what? Shut up. You sound like a whiny bitch. I'm just going to be honest. By the way, Aaron Judge don't use the bat.
No,
and
he doesn't.
How many home runs did he hit? How many fucking home runs did he hit over the weekend? He don't use the bat.
4. And drove in 11 runs, I believe, as well.
And I believe there's a player on every roster in Major League Baseball that uses this bat. So everybody uses it of some sort. Every roster carries the bat. Every team uses it to some sort. To me, it's a joke, and it is what it is. And by the way, I could see if they came out and just shattered a record, but I believe the 1986 or 87 Toronto Blue Jays still hold the record of 10 home runs in a game. They didn't even break that. And so they hit 15 home runs in their first 3 games or whatever. All right. And so fucking what? Like, I'm just saying, man. But you know the irony of it, Sean? We're going to bitch and moan about this, but yet you're okay with keeping Barry Bonds out of the Hall of Fame still, aren't you?
Yeah. And you know what's crazy, JB, is that what drives me nuts too is that, listen, as a diehard Red Sox fan, and obviously being here in Houston as an Astro fan, I appreciate good baseball. If it's been around, this complaint now just because they went haywire this weekend, but if it's legal, 1, why are we complaining? Go take it to Major League Baseball. 2 is, why isn't everybody doing it, every player in the league? If it's that, if it is truly like a softball on a tee, if it's that, a hard softball on a tee, then I'll tell you what, the Astros must have missed it. They scored 6 runs in 3 games this weekend, and they end up 2-1. So I understand. And like I said, I don't know the deep depth of, what they're doing, but if it's legal and nobody's saying it, if it's legal, it's fine. One thing I do know is pitchers get hosed in this too. They don't want any, you can't even walk out and lick your lips unless you're off the rubber, off the mound. I mean, pitchers, why? They want you to throw strikes so these guys can hammer it. We love runs and don't like 2-1 games, even though baseball purists do. So for me, the constant complaint, what's different than the past? Is it within the parameters of what we're trying to do? Apparently, as we sit here, it is, right? I'm sure what are they going to do? Take those bats and take them in and check them out? But yeah, when the mass is distributed and it also is closer to the trademark advantage, but did this just happen this spring? No, I think if you were smart, you'd start checking baseballs again, because those things are so tightly wound that you can, you hit it, it's a country mile. We're, 500-foot home runs if it keeps up and the baseball's juiced, the ball's going to be 500-foot home runs are going to be a yawner as a regular occurrence. But, sometimes we don't give credit where credit's due. You still got to put the bat on the ball. And
Sean, here's the part. You know better than me. You know better than I do. Like, from everything I've researched over the weekend, when I knew this was going to be big news, it's basically taking the wood from the parts you don't use and put it to the parts you do use, which is all under the legal limit length
of weight and length, ounces.
I really don't understand, and everyone else is using it. It's not like they found a loophole, like
But they get the Bugs Bunny cartoon bat, and nobody of the Gas House gang, and nobody else does.
They're the Yankees. It's the same thing if the Dodgers would have did it, and it's the same thing as the Houston cheating scandal, because they won and they're winning. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. They beat my Dodgers. It is what it is. I didn't go out and cry and bitch and moan. It is what it is. The Red Sox now, their fan base is going to cry because their nemesis, the Yankees, are doing something as a roster and put up a few points. This ain't gonna last all year, Sean. You know damn well.
As a Red Sox guy, I just you want to get people out. I know the Red Sox started out 1-3 against the Texas Rangers, who look like they're back to playing like they did, at least in the first series, when Bochy's team won it in 2023. But with that, JB, the thing too is it's like a golf club. They take it and keep it within the parameters, but they redistribute where the weight is and where it is in the heel or the toe, so you can draw it. They even have it where you get to now adjust your golf club because you want it to draw more out the tee box. So they're always making adjustments to hit it farther in golf, to shorten the course, while golf course architects want to make it tougher on you. And in baseball, we want live ball and live bats. But if the weight's just being redistributed under the legal part of it, and I always hear the unwritten rule in baseball. Well, guess what? We've expanded the bases. You can't run the catcher over. We got a guy on second base in extra innings during the regular season, during extra innings, because we don't want the game to last long. So gimmicks are galore. So if they've redistributed, as long as it's under the legal limit, either everybody's going to use it or this is going to come around and they're going to outlaw it. So if everybody's using it and it's that big of an advantage, why wouldn't everybody use it? It isn't just the Yankees, and you and I both know it, period. And I'm a Red Sox guy. So there you go. There you go. Well, JB, good stuff, man. How many teams you got left in the Final Four?
4.
You got all of them?
Yeah.
You picked all 4 1 seeds?
Yeah, Sean, of course. That's what it is. Big fish eat little fish. It was not a hard deal. I was rooting inside for Michigan State, but at the end of the day, I had I had Florida playing Houston in the final. I think it still ends up that way. I think Houston edges it out. Duke is scary. They're playing as well as anybody. They're as deep as anybody, and they have NBA scores on offense, which is the concern I have this week. But I do believe in that pressuring defense that Houston has, and I think Houston's offense is better than it's been in recent tournament runs. So the point guard for Houston, he's going to have to be an NBA star, though, to get through this and beat a team with Flag and all these other stars that Duke has. So it is what it is. I think Houston gets it done. They're going to be our pick, both of our picks to get it done. But I did have Florida playing Houston.
And what did you have? How many in the final 8 did you have, the Elite 8?
I had Michigan State in there. I did have Texas Tech. And people don't understand, like, Sean, when the tournament's going on.
BYU too, I think, or Vanderbilt.
Yeah. I had Vanderbilt, which fucked my whole bracket up.
Yeah.
So, like, for me winning big money, Vanderbilt lost first round. You know how that goes. That fucked everything up. So, So it is what it is. I had them in my Elite Eight, and that fucked my whole bracket up.
Well,
so.
Here's what it did with the 4 teams, and we'll close with this. One, Florida, they have a closer, and that team showed unbelievable resilience with 16 points down against a really good Texas Tech team who was capable of winning the whole thing and to fight their way back in there and close it out big. We know what Duke is. I mean, when you got a big-time star, but they also – you saw 30 points, I think it was the Elite Eight, and to get to the Final Four, you saw Flag get other people involved, and they have more than 2 or 3 guys that can beat you. When it gets to Auburn playing with a ton of confidence, the 1 seed in the tournament, and they've run into some very, very difficult basketball, battle tested, and the SEC's been the best all year long, and they're going to get Florida, which I think is going to be a hell of a fist fight. And then there's Houston. If you're used to playing in the 80s, you better be prepared if you're Duke. It's not just Houston preparing for Duke. Duke better be prepared for Houston because they're going to defend your ass. They give up 16 points to a high-powered Tennessee game in the first half. You're going to get contested every shot, and the thing they got, 3 of their guys shoot over 40%, they're perimeter people, and it is a guard league in college basketball. Beyond the arc, this is the best shooting team they've had at this point in a while for Kelvin. And if they're big, stay out of foul trouble, that defense is smothering. We got something to like for every team, star power for every team, defense. But I'm going to tell you, can you play in the 60s or the 50s if you play, and can Houston keep it there? Or do you got to play in the 70s and 80s to win the national title? We're going to find out if offense or defense, like we see in the NFL and in baseball, pitching wins championships, is defense, or do you got to just continue to knock down threes, which has been a strength this year for the Houston Cougars. For JB and myself, we'll be back to do it again tomorrow on Triple E, Laura Palmisano, as well as my guy Craig Larson. JB, great stuff today, man. Some of this stuff, I know you're not going to buy an electric car today, but do me a favor, don't get any ideas about throwing swords and shooting arrows that are lit into a Tesla building. Okay, let's preserve that and leave that to your libs, the people you love, your favorite.
Hey, you got any Aaron Rodgers news?
No, and if I did, I wasn't going to talk about it today. What's new as we're getting off the show? Anything?
He's in Tijuana.
Like I said, what's new as we get off the show? We'll decide if what's he doing there, by the way, in Tijuana? Do we know?
I would assume titty bar.
God, that'll make me want to throw up. Yeah, no. Are they? They don't have those live donkey shows in Tijuana anymore, do they? Triple E. I mean, JB.
It might be a Hong Kong.
Triple E donkey show. No, JB. How many times you rolled into Tijuana?
He might be at Hong Kong. Hong Kong, my favorite titty bar.
Now, I'm going to tell you we're the best. But you want to go midnight bowling, which we used to do. I'm dead serious, dude. The best midnight bowling alley on the planet is in Tijuana. My brother spends a lot of time with his company and work down in Central and South America and in Mexico. And we used to take bus. We'd go down there and we'd eat street tacos and get in at like midnight, go bowling till like 3 a.m. and come back across the border in like a limo bus that a buddy of mine had. And we had an absolute blast. So you want to bowl? And now I'm not sure what the safety levels are right there and now, but I would suggest that if you want a midnight bowl anywhere near the border, go to Tijuana. And the street tacos are off the chart. Now, Aaron Rodgers, I don't think he's there to bowl or eat street tacos. I'm not real sure why he's there. You say strip club. I didn't even know they existed in Tijuana anymore, but apparently I ain't been there in a while. I'm trying to pretend like they don't.
Premier.
Yeah, top notch. Okay. So, but as we sit here today, he still doesn't have a team to go to, or if he does, he knows it and he's taking it for granted, or people are still going to sit there and wait till he makes a decision. It's good to be Aaron Rodgers, I guess, if people are waiting on you.
Yeah, I can't wait to talk about that tomorrow again.
Yeah, well, there you go. Unless he literally tells us why he's there. I don't know why Tijuana, but hey, good people there. Okay, there's some good shops to go in and buy inexpensive clothing, get the best street tacos, and go bowling. Go bowling in Tijuana, the best on the planet. That's a fact. I'm not kidding you either. I bullshit you.
You can holler for $60. You can holler for $60. You can holler for $60 too.
No, when I cross that border, ain't anything to do with any of that stuff. And Triple E, I'm with you. That's a place I'm not. I don't think that's part of my routine, JB. And I'm from San Diego, so that ought to tell you. For JB, he had to ruin the show at the end for bringing this up, but we appreciate you. We'll talk more about Tijuana visits tomorrow. I'm Sean for JB and Triple E. We'll see you tomorrow right here on Pave. Let your friends know this is where to go. You're going to get it real here. We'll see you guys tomorrow.